The film begins on a distant planet named Krypton. Strange people live here, but at the moment there is an atmosphere of fear in the entire planet. Krypton is slowly going to be destroyed. Meanwhile, a child is born in a house. This child's father's name is Jor-El. Jor-El knows that if nothing is done, his entire planet will be destroyed. Jor-El makes a big plan. He wants the genetic codex, meaning data that contains the DNA of all of Krypton and information about its entire race. He believes that if this codex is saved, so a new world like Krypton can be established on some other planet. So Jor-El goes straight to the Supreme Council and says, "Give me the genetic codex, so I can save our race." But the council people flatly refuse. Then suddenly there is the entry of General Zod, who reaches there with his entire army. Zod has heard everything and he shoots the council members without thinking. Actually, Zod also wanted the same genetic codex, but his thinking was completely opposite to that of Jor-El. Zod believed that if we go to another planet, we will rule it only by destroying the people already living there, while Jor-El wanted everyone to live together. Take everyone along. There is an argument between the two on this matter, and then a fight starts. Somehow Jor-El comes out from there and calls one of his pet dragons, and sits on it and runs away. Now Jor-El sets out to find the codex, but Zod also follows him. Zod attacks, but Jor-El's dragon tries to save him and is himself injured, yet Jor-El finally acquires the genetic codex. Jor-El Turand reaches home and gives the codex to his wife and says, "Put this codex inside our son so that Krypton will no longer survive." Jor-El already realizes that his son is not an ordinary child. He will have some different powers. Now he has only one way left: to save his child and send him to another planet. Jor-El also gives a key to his wife, which will be very important later on. The wife starts crying, but under compulsion, he sends his son away in a spacecraft. And then Zod comes again. He attacks Jor-El again and finally kills Jor-El. A Bjord goes to stop the child's spacecraft, but Krypton's council immediately sends its fighters, and the child's spacecraft is saved. Zod is captured and imprisoned as punishment. While Krypton is finally destroyed, we now see the spacecraft land on Earth. And the story comes to the present time, where we are shown a man named Clark. Clark is working as a fisherman on a ship, and at this very moment he has superhuman eyes. A massive earthquake occurs nearby. An airplane begins to crash. Clark jumps in without thinking and saves people's lives. A massive tower is about to collapse, but Clark gives him a disease with his power. Meanwhile, Clark remembers his childhood. When he was young, he used to hear distant voices, could see through things, and was extremely strong. Once his school bus fell into water, and he single-handedly saved the lives of all the children by taking the bus out. Even he himself did not understand how he did it. Clark's father always told him, "Son, your powers are special, but don't show them to the world. People will get scared and think you are a monster." So Clark lived by hiding his powers, sometimes as a waiter in a hotel, sometimes working at different places, just so that no one would know about him. One day, Clark learns that somewhere a 20,000-year-old scout ship has been found which is buried in ice. On hearing this, Clark's interest is aroused and he reaches there. Meanwhile, a reporter also comes there, and she is also looking for a big news for herself. At night, Lois is taking photographs there, and suddenly she sees a man in the photographs. He is none other than Clark, who is melting the ice by emitting laser-like light from his eyes and searching for the scout ship. Clark carefully searches for the scout ship buried in the ice, and finally he finds it. As soon as he goes inside, he feels a different atmosphere there, where a central module is installed. Clark has a strange key and inserts it into that machine, and as soon as it is activated, the entire system turns on and then a hologram is created on the screen and the digital form of Clark's father Jor-El appears. Jor-El says to Clark, "My son, you have finally arrived." Clark is shocked and says, "How can this happen? How are you speaking here?" Jor-El tells him that they lived on a planet called Krypton and that Clark is actually a child of that planet. Krypton was being destroyed, so he was sent to Earth to save it. Jor-El also tells that I was killed by someone in the lyric of the genetic codex, and then he explains the whole truth to Clark that the DNA of the entire Krypton race is hidden in the genetic codex. Jor-El says, "I matched your DNA to codex. That's why we see superhumans in you." And then Jor-El also gives Clark a special costume which is going to become his identity in future. On the other hand, the same reporter girl Lois has also reached inside. She is shocked to see the whole thing. She starts taking photos of the AI system present inside, but then that AI hologram system considers him an enemy. Suddenly he attacks Lois and she falls down. Clark immediately picks him up and brings him outside. After this, Clark activates the scout ship and flies away from there. Lois is completely interested in where this ship came from and who this man is. Lois runs to her news office and tells her boss that she has got the biggest news. This is a man from another planet. But her boss says that this is all madness and give her this disease. But Lois is not the one to believe so easily. She shares this thing with another reporter. On the other hand, Clark is now wearing that costume and flies openly into the sky for the first time. He tests his powers by flying in the air without any duds. Now he has completely understood that he is not a common man. He has now become a Superman. Now Lois reaches Clark's house and meets his mother. Then she also goes to Clark's father's grave. Meanwhile, Clark also reaches there and says, "Why are you following me?" Lois says, "Because you're not normal. Why are you hiding your power from the world?" Clark tells Lois the most painful story of his life. He says that one day he was going in the car with his parents and his friend when suddenly there came a terrible storm and tornado. Everyone got out of the car but their dog remained inside the car. Clark's father went ahead to save him and got trapped in the middle of the tornado. Clark says that if I wanted, I could have saved them. I was very fast, very strong. But his father gave him the disease with a wave of his hand. And just as Clark was about to move on, his father nodded one last time, "Don't show your strength in front of anyone." And the same tornado took away his father. His father died in front of Clark's eyes and he could not do anything. Clark says, "If I couldn't save them, then why should I show the world who I am?" Lois explains to him, "You are not wrong, you are doing good for the world." After this, Clark goes home and says to his mother, "Mother, now I have to. Who am I and why am I so powerful?" Clark's mother cries with joy but then asks in fear, "Will you leave me?" Clark says, "Are you crazy? Will I stay with you forever?" Quote. Now there comes a big twist in the story. The government receives some photos from the satellite in which it is seen that a huge spacecraft in the sky is moving towards the Earth. And then a message comes. "A resident of our planet is on your planet. Give it back or we will end your world." The whole city and the government get scared. Now everyone understands that the danger is very big. Superman does not want his forces to cause destruction on Earth. That's why he himself comes forward and says, "I will go myself so that no one else gets harmed." He is captured and placed in a room where Lois is talking to him. And on the other side, behind the glass, the army men are listening. Clark looks at the mirror and says, "No need to keep an eye on me. I am handing myself over to you. Just send me to them, so that you guys stay safe." Everyone understands that this person is not bad. Then Superman is brought to an open field and people from Krypton descend from the sky who have come to take him. As soon as the people of Krypton come to take Superman, they say to the Earth's military, "Let us take him along." But the military flatly refuses. Then Lois herself steps forward and says, "No problem, let me go." And then Lois herself boards her spaceship and goes away with them. Lois is locked in a room there. She gets a little scared. But he has the same mystery key given to him by Clark. Lois inserts the key into the spaceship system, and then the same hologram becomes active on the screen again. Jor-El comes back to the fore. Jor-El tells Lois, "I know the entire structure and every path of this spaceship. Do whatever I say. You will be safe." On the other hand, the general comes in front of Superman and says, "You know Krypton is now destroyed. Now we have to go and settle on Earth. You will have to support us in this." Then he asks Superman, "Tell him where the genetic codex is." Superman says, "I don't know." Hearing this, the general angrily says, "You want me to create a new Krypton and in the process destroy the people of Earth." Now Jor-El takes Lois out with him and both of them start running away from there, but the general's soldiers come to stop them and attacks start happening all around. Then Jor-El cleverly sends Lois back to Earth in a small spacecraft and Lois somehow escapes from there. Here Jor-El shouts at Superman and says, "You have power inside you, why don't you use it? You can break the door of this ship." Superman uses all his strength and in one fell swoop breaks the door of the ship and takes him out. As soon as he comes out, he gets hit by the sunlight and the same light makes him even more powerful. Meanwhile, the spacecraft in which Lois is going to Earth goes out of control in space and starts crashing. Lois's life is in danger, but then Superman reaches there by flying fast and catches Lois in the air and brings her down safely. Now the general also reaches the Earth and first of all he goes to Superman's mother's house. He threatens his mother. "Tell him where is your son and where is the genetic codex." He is about to kill his mother when Superman comes there. Superman says angrily, "How dare you touch my mother?" Superman catches the general and flies through the air, takes him very far and throws him directly in the snowy area. The general is wearing a special suit which helps him to fight in the Earth's environment. Now a terrible fight begins between the two. Superman breaks the general's helmet, due to which the general starts having difficulty in breathing. The Superman is about to destroy him when he sees the opportunity, but then the general's soldiers come in between and save him and take him back with them. Now in the general's ship, one of his special men says, "Just bring the Superman to us. It does not matter whether he is dead or alive. I will take the codex from his body." The general becomes happy after hearing this because now he wants to fulfill his dream of establishing his rule on Earth. Now the general sends two big machines to Earth which emit a mysterious smoke. Gradually that smoke starts making the Earth's atmosphere like Krypton. The people of the Earth become scared because the air starts getting heavy. Breathing becomes difficult and the environment is changing. Lois goes to the chief of the military and tells him that Jor-El told him there is a way to destroy these machines. Lois explains that if the same spaceship from which she returned is crashed into the machine, it could break the machine. At the same time, Superman also comes there and says, "Yes, this plan will work. You break the first machine, I will handle the second machine." Superman flies to the second machine and destroys it with all his might. Meanwhile, the spaceship in which Lois and the army chief are traveling is stopped by an agent of the general. Situation gets worse. Just then the pilot of the spaceship says, "I will crush my ship into the machine. I don't care about my life. I just want to save the world." And he actually crushes the spaceship into the machine. The machine is destroyed, but Lois starts falling in the air and once again Superman comes flying and catches her and saves her. Now both the machines are destroyed and people become happy that now the danger has passed, but then the general comes again and shouts that "You have ruined my entire plan. Now I will finish you," and then the final and most dangerous fight begins between the two. While fighting, they enter a building and now the general has also learned to use the same laser power. He fires lasers from his eyes and starts attacking the innocent people present inside the building. Superman tries hard to stop him, but the general does not stop. Now Superman is forced to kill him. Superman breaks down after killing him. He starts crying because he did not want to kill anyone, but it was necessary to save innocent people. After some time, Clark, the Superman, comes to Lois's news office and asks for a job on the pretext of an interview. Lois smiles and says welcome to the planet, and with this the movie ends. So friends, if you like this story, then do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We will meet again with a new story. Till then, bye.